How much does it cost to build a timber frame house? Or a steel frame house? If you're looking for a quick answer, it could be way up here or over here. But if you want to dive into the details and look at the factors that play into budgeting, go ahead and keep watching. All budgets start with the design. We're standing in a 2,500 square foot house. To give a rough idea, ordering the plans for a 2,500 square foot timber frame house will cost about $2,000, and it can be done in just 2 or 3 days. How? Because for centuries in America, houses have been built with wood. For centuries, architects and designers have designed details, features, and written code all based on timber frame houses. So how did the architects work? They just plug in all the dimensions and features of the house to a few pages or templates. The builders who construct the house know all the codes. They don't need all the in-depth details of the blueprints. If you put in an order for a steel frame house, you're going to get 146 pages of in-depth details because they use the same plan for the machines at the mill and for the builder. It's going to cost at least $5,000 to $6,000. That's already triple the price of a standard project. So getting the plans for a timber frame house is $2,000 and a steel frame is $5,000. Moving on to the next line on the budget, when the drawings are ready, you need to get the materials delivered. If you're working with wood, it's super simple. You send the request to your supplier, he brings the materials to the job site himself, and you don't spend a single second of your time on it. If you're ordering materials for a steel frame house, you need to order it from the mill, wait in line, organize the delivery, and if, for example, you order it from abroad like we did for one of our recent projects, you're going to wait even longer and pay for all those delivery expenses from abroad, including the container. The difference could be wood, $0, metal, $10,000. The next line of the budget is the cost of the materials themselves. The materials don't only include the steel studs, posts, and headers, but also the screws and bolts, and the sheathing for the exterior. Steel frame is going to cost anywhere from $55,000 to $60,000. So the bulk of the expenses is going to be in the materials themselves. Materials for a 2,500 square foot house will be about $35,000 for wood and $55,000 for metal. Now, moving down to labor, there's the people who are going to build your home. We held a tender among 3 teams that had previously built our homes. I also went and looked at their latest work. We didn't make our decision based on price. It wasn't the lowest price, it was somewhere in the middle. We liked that the guys had good communication, excellent standards, and their professional skills were top-notch. I'm happy with the choice we made, and they built this house in 2 weeks. Talking about steel frames, 2 weeks is practically impossible. Firstly, steel frame is going to have a higher cost to install because more often than not, it's used in the commercial sector. The price for constructing a metal house could be double that of a timber frame house. So if you're paying $8,000 per square foot for wood, it's going to be $15,000 for steel. As for the time frame, your home will take at least a month and a half or 2 months to put up. There's another factor that will affect your budget, and it could make up 10 to 15% of your budget. I want to show you a window that the guys messed up on. They fixed the window now, but see all these shavings at the bottom? The guys cut out this window wrong, and it ended here. It was a simple mistake. What did it cost them to change this window? They just made a few cuts, made them lower, trimmed the OSB from the outside, and bada bing bada boom, now it's fixed. Trying to do that with steel is super tough because you have all the connections in the metal. They're pre-cut, they're pre-drilled. You need to completely cut the window block. This can be a huge drag on the process. Similarly, when you're talking with your HVAC technicians, whether it's during the design phase or when you're already building, they're typically going to tell you that you need to connect the first and second floors with their large ducts, so there's ventilation on the first floor. You'll need to find a place for the ventilation shaft. Building a shaft like that when you're working with wood takes an hour. For metal, you've got to design it in advance. You need to think everything through during the design phase, including for HVAC, electricians, and plumbers, all that. That's an important time factor for the project. Additionally, the air conditioning technicians, plumbers, and electricians are going to add 10 to 15% to their cost of work if they're working with steel frame. Why? Here, for example, we need a box to be installed for a switch. Installing a box to a wood frame can be done in one go. For a metal frame, they need either special self-tapping screws or to drill a hole and then screw in the box. They'll charge more for this, I'm sure of it. Now, let's add the numbers together. How much does a 2,500 square foot wood frame house cost? That's going to be about $60,000. How much does it cost for metal? It comes in at double the price, $120,000. The question you may be asking yourself, so why build steel frame houses if it's twice the price? Well, metal has its advantages. The first one is that you can easily build a flat-roofed house. You could do it with wood too, but it's much more difficult. The span without columns or supports inside the house will be a lot smaller. With metal, you can make larger spans without additional supports inside the room. Here's a link to a video where we described the process and showed a metal frame house. There are large open rooms spanning long distances without support. The second advantage is window openings. If you want to make your house bright with large windows with long windows and at the same time not have to install additional internal supports, metal can help do that. In our project, we had almost a 25-foot span without additional supports. We could do that because it was a steel frame. In a typical wood frame project, the window openings can typically be a maximum of 15 feet. Here's a link to a video about a project where we built a huge panoramic window with a steel frame house. Another important point: if you like large cantilevered terraces and canopies and don't like columns, metal is a good option. With metal, you can build cantilevered overhangs that are pretty big and you don't need columns. Columns are pretty standard. When there aren't columns, that's how you know it's a unique house. The last point I want to highlight on the advantages of a metal frame house is, of course, reliability, durability, and stability. If you're building a house on a slope like you can see in this video, it will be here. Then in that case, I would suggest going with a steel frame. I hope this video was helpful. If you're interested in a template for a budget on a timber or steel frame house, or if you want to see our projects, I can personally give you a tour. Write in the comments. I invite you to check out the homes we build.